Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth. Missiles fly in Israel, Pakistan, and Ukraine. Trump says he will not try for a third term as president. The U.S. budget protects Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. A ballistic missile fired by the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen impacted on the grounds of Ben Gurion Airport on Sunday morning, injuring 6 people, none of them seriously. The blast occurred in a grove of trees alongside an access road close to the airport's main Terminal 3, several hundred yards from the airport control tower. The military said it made several attempts to intercept the missile, but failed to shoot down the projectile. An impact was identified in the area of Ben Gurion Airport, it said. The attack marked the first time a Houthi missile had impacted within the grounds of the airport. A Hezbollah missile hit a parking area on the airport's perimeter in November. Both the Israeli Air Force's Long-Range Arrow Air Defense System and the U.S.'s THAAD system failed to intercept the Houthi missile, defense sources said. The Israeli Air Force's Aerial Defense Array was investigating the failure. Pakistan test-fired a ballistic missile Saturday as tensions with India spiked over last month's deadly attack on tourists in the disputed Kashmir region. The surface-to-surface missile has a range of 450 kilometers, about 280 miles, according to the Pakistani military. There was no immediate comment about the launch from India, which blames Pakistan for the April 22nd gun massacre in the resort town of Pahalgam, a charge Pakistan denies. Pakistan's military said the launch of the weapon system was aimed at ensuring the operational readiness of troops and validating key technical parameters, including the missile's advanced navigation system and enhanced maneuverability features. Ukraine has claimed it shot down a Russian Su-30 fighter jet in the Black Sea using a seaborne drone for the first time. This is the first time in the world that a combat aircraft has been destroyed by a marine drone, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine said in a statement on Saturday, adding it burst into flames in the air and eventually fell into the sea. Ukraine's military intelligence said one of the units destroyed the fighter jet on Friday with the Ukrainian Magura drone near a key port city for Russia, where Ukraine claims there are remnants of Russia's Black Sea fleet. Congress is attempting to overturn California's clean car rule that would ban the sales of gas-powered cars starting in 2035. The move has raised concerns about its practicality from automakers and the energy sector. The U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday voted 246 to 164 on a GOP resolution to express congressional disapproval of California's Advanced Clean Cars 2 rule, which was first adopted in 2022 and establishes a minimum percentage of zero-emission cars that rises from 35% for the 2026 model year to 100% in 2035. Before the Biden administration left office, it granted a Clean Air Act waiver to California in December to allow the rule to move forward. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom said at the time that clean cars are here to stay and added that California can rise to the challenge of protecting our people by cleaning our air and cutting pollution. The California electric grid is completely incapable of handling an influx of electric cars. The House resolution, which would repeal Biden's waiver and prohibit the California law from going into effect, passed with the support of all 211 GOP lawmakers, as well as 35 Democrats, including 2 Democrats from California, who crossed the aisle to vote in favor of blocking the rule. Now it must pass the Senate and be signed into law by the president to take effect. President Trump proposed a budget Friday that would make big cuts to federal spending next year on health care, education, housing, environmental, and foreign aid programs, while boosting defense spending by 13% and border security funding by 65%. The proposal is what's known as a skinny budget, which is a summary presidents often release and is a guidepost for the budget that Congress is currently working on. One of the most important elements of the proposed budget is that there are no cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. President Trump signed an executive order late Thursday to end public funding of National Public Radio and PBS to stop what he called biased and partisan news coverage. The order directs the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to cease federal funding for NPR and PBS to the extent allowed by law. The order could be challenged in court. The White House said in a Friday statement that both organizations had received tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer funds each year to spread radical woke propaganda disguised as news. Unlike in 1967, when the Corporation for Public Broadcasting was established, today the media landscape is filled with abundant, diverse, and innovative news options, the executive order reads. Government funding of news media in this environment is not only outdated and unnecessary, but corrosive to the appearance of journalistic independence. Officials in the Trump administration are exploring ways of challenging the tax-exempt status of nonprofits, according to the Wall Street Journal, which reported this on Saturday. Internal Revenue Service lawyers have been exploring whether they could change the rules governing how nonprofit groups can be denied tax-exempt status, the Journal said, citing people familiar with the matter. The meeting started taking place shortly after the Trump administration appointed Andrew DeMello as the new top interim lawyer at the IRS. Another senior IRS official, Gary Shapley, separately said in at least one meeting that he was giving priority to investigating the tax-exempt status of a select group of nonprofit organizations. Trump said on Friday his administration would revoke Harvard University's tax-exempt status, returning to a threat he issued against it as part of his wider attack on universities that have promoted anti-Semitism and anti-American activities and failed to protect a diversity of ideas. President Trump offered his clearest indication yet that he will leave the White House at the end of his second term without trying to extend his stay, acknowledging the constraints preventing him from seeking a third term in an exclusive interview with NBC News' Meet the Press. Trump also highlighted several other rising stars in the Republican Party he said are capable of carrying the MAGA mantle after he's finished as the GOP's elected leader, mentioning not only Vice President J.D. Vance, but also Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has become a central player in his second administration. I'll be an 8-year president. I'll be a 2-term president. I always thought that was very important, Trump told Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker in an interview that aired on Sunday. Warren Buffett on Saturday brushed off recent stock market volatility that has rattled investors over the past several weeks. What has happened in the last 30, 45 days is really nothing, the Berkshire Hathaway CEO said during the conglomerate's annual meeting. Buffett pointed out that there were 3 occasions over the last 6 decades where Berkshire Hathaway stock declined 50%. He noted that there was no fundamental issue with the company during these periods. I don't get fearful by things that other people are afraid of in a financial way, he said. Let's say Berkshire went down 50% next week. I would regard that as a fantastic opportunity, and it wouldn't bother me in the least. Given that, he said, the U.S. stock market's recent action should not be characterized as a huge move. This has not been a dramatic bear market or anything of the sort, Buffett said. The 94-year-old also stunned the business world when he closed out Berkshire Hathaway's annual shareholders meeting by revealing he would leave his CEO position by the end of the year. It even surprised his hand-picked successor, Greg Abel, who wasn't informed of the announcement beforehand. Employers across the U.S. added 177,000 jobs in April, a sign the labor market is still humming. Job growth was stronger than expected in April. Payroll gains exceeded economist forecasts of 135,000 last month, according to financial data firm FactSet. Non-farm payrolls increased a seasonally adjusted 177,000 for the month, slightly below the downwardly revised 185,000 in March, but above the Dow Jones estimate for 135,000, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Friday. The unemployment rate, however, held at 4.2%, as expected, indicating that the labor market is holding relatively stable. The survey of households, which is used to calculate the jobless rate, showed an even stronger gain with an increase of 436,000 in those who reported holding jobs on the month. A broader unemployment gauge that includes discouraged workers and those holding part-time jobs for economic reasons or the underemployed edged lower to 7.8%. The labor force participation rate edged higher to 62.6%. America's second-largest grocery chain warned its suppliers that the retailer won't be accepting tariff-related price hikes due to President Trump's sweeping tariff policies. Albertsons Companies, which operates more than 2,200 stores across the nation, including King's, Balducci's, Safeway's, and Randall's, informed its suppliers of the policy update in a letter last month, according to American Economic Liberties Project researcher Matt Stoller. The supermarket chain said the update was made to keep products at competitive prices. With few exceptions, we are not accepting cost increases due to tariffs, the Idaho-based chain said in the letter. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.